Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American, and YouTube woman. And I would like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Reserved Seats. I'd like to thank everyone currently joining us on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Say hello in the chat. Faithful Blue Wrench channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions, Connie Cleary. My partner in crime, the toxic gunslinger, the man who cannot be killed. Host of Action Theater, Western Cinema Presents, and After Hours Karaoke, Outlaw Bill. The tired midnight blogger, the voice of Northern Oklahoma, channel member, Curtis Selby. Channel member, host of Thursday Things, co-host of Friday Night Last Call, and live from Sparkwood in 21. Netters Network. Friend of the channel, Enigma Severus. His review of the Apple TV film Echo Valley is now up on his channel. Please check it out after the show. Not right now, after. Something dark side, Pacelli, I don't. The wrenches, just cut this guy's feed right now. Thank you. Last call, Troy Pacelli, of course, my co-host on Live from Sparkwood in 21, as well as the host of Friday Night Last Call, co-host of DP Teasers, which just completed about a half hour ago. Please check out tonight's show if you missed it. Not right now. After the show is over, and after you've watched Enigma's video. You know, I have just realized that maybe we spend a little too much time here on YouTube. Okay, the show's over. Good night. Thank you very much. That's it? No. You're not getting out of here that easy. I have a guest backstage who's waiting very patiently. So I am going to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, the creator of the 10-Word Review, the host of Films with Friends, the guest who was here during the show that was still the most popular and most watched episode of the previous iteration of this show, The Other Side of Midnight. And I know that was a very convoluted way of saying it. Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Big Al presents.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, Al. Thank you for taking the time out to once again join the show. I know this is, a little later than you normally go, but
time enough to sleep when I'm dead. Yeah. I was having as I was telling you backstage, I was having the 10-second blinks for the last 45 minutes to an hour or something, watching a few things here and there. But I'm here. I'm awake. I'm ready.
Indeed. FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Tim.
Hey, so Enigma Severus watched the Echo Valley. That's
Yeah.
on my list to get to watch. I was thinking about maybe tomorrow night.
Yeah, saw the trailer. I was curious about that one. Not just
Well,
because
yeah,
Sydney Sweeney is in the movie, guys.
well,
No,
yeah. Julianne
because I
Moore.
like Julianne Moore is no slouch either, and
No.
I like a good mystery, and
Hmm.
hopefully it will be a good one. I haven't seen Enigma's video yet. I'm hoping to do so here very soon. And you have a video up right now, which is
Yeah,
How to Train Your Dragon, both versions of the film.
both versions. Yeah, yeah. I watched the first one for the first time the other night.
Oh,
I had never seen it, which shocks me considering it's about Vikings and dragons and stuff. And then I watched the remake, which literally pretty much is a remake just with live people. um, for however people want to, if they like that or not, it's what it is. It's the most faithful live action remake of a film I think I've seen.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim says you're watching it for Sydney, and you know it. Well,
Well, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
She, well, that's why it's on. It's just it's there. But I like Julianne Moore, and it's
yeah, yeah.
sometimes I like a good mystery, something different. And I missed out on getting a bar of her bathwater soap, so I've got to get my fix somehow.
Indeed. Enigma says, wow, first time for the animated. I'm hoping to make a video for the trilogy eventually. Yeah, I need to see 3. I never saw part 3. So
Yeah, I'm gonna they're on my list. I think they're all on Peacock for free.
oh,
Uh,
I'm sure. Yeah.
so because that's why I watched the first one the other night, and definitely made me want to see the second one. It's one of those things where I missed it the first time out,
Mhm.
and I mean, you know how it is. You just don't get around to watching something and until a special event comes around when they do a remake of it. And 15 years later, that's a closed window. That's a very tight time frame that they did that in.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I mean, when you do what we do, those of us who review movies online, and I kind of consider myself the amateur version of that. It does become a matter of kind of like streaming itself. Where do you find the time? Because you got to sit down and find the time to actually sit down and watch the movie. And I don't. And it happened today. I had to. You know, I was late to one show and I had to cancel out another one just because a work situation came up. I work in a restaurant. Restaurants are very busy on holidays. It's Father's Day. Everybody wants to take dad out for a nice meal and a nice day out, and 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 we were very busy. So I had to, I ended up kind of missing the film today during Western Cinema. I I had I had a whole episode of Unscripted planned. Um, was about ready to get Fletcher to work on the thumbnail and everything, and I found out, hey, you got to work on Sunday, so they kind of put the kibosh on that. But so sitting down and watching a movie, I almost have to kind of plan ahead to do it these days. With
Yeah.
everything, because no, I am serious. I make a list of what I have to do during the day. And it's kind of a 50-50 shot if I even get to everything. But I'm trying to put myself back on a schedule of things that I need to do around the house and stuff that isn't always necessarily YouTube related. I mean, I know Enigma has been has brought up a movie that I actually have a copy of called I think it's like No Time for the Dead or something. It's like a Korean action film, and I just haven't had a chance to sit down and get to it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm lucky, but being retired on disability, it opens up the day a little bit. But sometimes, I mean, I really, I'll watch a film because when I do, like, I just like watching movies, but sometimes there's those times like I just don't feel like it. It's like I just want to like sit here and watch a few YouTube videos. Maybe I'll go to Peacock, watch a few episodes of Parks and Recreation. Just chill, because when I watch something, it almost sometimes I watch something, you're not sure if you're going to like it or not, but you feel like you need to watch it because, I do reviews.
Yeah. And because while I've been talking up Criticless quite a bit, I'm still on Letterboxd, and Letterboxd actually allows you to keep like a watch list, and it is so long.
Yeah, I need I honestly I need to like go to Criticless and just load up a lot of my stuff. I keep forgetting, like you said, it's a matter of finding the time. And like I said, I'm not exactly the most energetic person. A lot, I'm a little older and tired, and like I said, my body's kind of been through a ringer for the last 20 years or so. But yeah, it's just sometimes you just gotta find you gotta find the time. That's I mean, if you want a little backstory on why I do 10-word reviews. I got tired of writing long form reviews because it took so long.
It's work.
It's work. And when and here's my deal. Here's how I record. If you if you see me when I'm recording, I do my best to record clean through. I mean, you can tell by my hums and haws sometimes when I'm doing my little ramble thing at the after the official 10-word. But like I'll screw something up and I'm like, and I just scrub it and I'll start over from scratch. It takes a while, but now imagine doing that with like 3 paragraphs of a review. Like screw one thing up. In my mind, I just start over again because I don't know if I'm going to remember where I screwed up. I'm going to have to find it, and it's too much as far as editing and all other stuff, and I just like free flowing it. And sometimes I just I just thought to myself, sometimes a person doesn't need to know this whole long spiel about a movie. They just want to know the high points, the bullet points. So I set 10. and hence the 10-word review was born. Or less. I have done ones with less. Yes, Parks and Rec does rock Enigma Cerberus. I love that show. That's probably my favorite sitcom.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have to sit down and watch it, I think.
It's a lot of fun. Right. Once you got to get basically to the end of season 2. That's when it really finds itself.
Enigma says, yes, No Tears for the Dead, 2014. Realism of how the weapons are used are pretty accurate. Yeah, it's I have kind of an interesting history with this movie already before seeing it, and it is from the director of a movie called The Man from Nowhere, and I'm aware of that through its Indian remake, which was called Rocky Handsome, and I had actually heard of that first. And because the fight scene at the end of that is very, very famous, and there's clips of it on here on YouTube of people reacting to it and stuff like that. And then I found out, it's actually a remake of this Korean film. So I looked into that and actually found out that I think I have that too, and just never got around to watching it because, sometimes. I have a lot of movies, and some of them I haven't even watched.
Mm-hmm.
Like No Tears for the Dead, I've never watched. Man from Nowhere, I've never watched. I have a horror movie called, this independent horror movie called Five Across the Eyes. Never seen that. But, so I have all of these, because I'm kind of weird, and I'm kind of all over the place, kind of with movies, with music, and I'm switching genres like that.
You have an eclectic taste.
Yeah, so it's sort of what I am in the mood for at any particular time, and then I'll like. Because one of the things that I used to do, especially when, the big box stores quit selling physical media, is, you got to go to secondhand stores, and you've got to go to, you're bound to find a bigger selection at a Dollar General or a pawn shop these days, and it's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I even did a video about it. And so I pick up things that to me look interesting, or look like something that I might like. Now I'm a little bit more discriminate. I'm not really down with buying anything unless it's something I know that I'm going to watch a number of times, because one of the things is kind of for two reasons. Number one, it's so expensive these days to buy something that's new.
I know they put, some of the prices on them.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm worried about when it comes to like buying an older disc is the whole disc rot situation that's developed, and I've started to notice that in some of the older DVDs that I have. So yeah, it's become to me a bit of a crapshoot, and one of the things that keeps me away from newer films is just they're not as good as they used to be. I mean, and but I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still find some good movies, and I think
there are a lot of good movies out there.
There are good movies, but you gotta kind of look for them,
Yeah, it's I just we just live in a different time, and well, it's like it's like when your parents was like, kids and their music today. We kind of have a certain standard from when we grew up. Mine, probably yours too, is kind of like the 80s films. Those were like the iconic ones. There seemed to be more great movies in the 80s than there is any other time or whatever. But yeah, there's this, I don't know if it's just a lack of imagination going on in Hollywood or something. They just you don't find those major great movies that much anymore. Sometimes you get one a week, and now you're like lucky if you get one every 6 months.
I think what it is it's kind of twofold. One I think is it's fear. Because they're expecting, okay, we can just make another Marvel movie, or we can just take some older film and remake it, or we can just stamp Star Wars on it and it'll be a hit.
We'll do a live action of an animated film.
Right. But it's not really working anymore. And another thing that is that, to get political for just one little bit, because I've been trying to avoid doing that, guys. Serious, I have.
It's your channel.
but the thing is I think they make these like these checkbox movies, that, or they go in the other direction where they're so afraid of offending someone that there's almost not a movie there. It's almost like it's kind of like a movie apologizing for being a movie. It's weird.
I mean, well, I kind of hinted at it last night when we watched Love at First Bite, because because as some of you know, Netter and I alternate Saturdays. Last night was mine, and I always pick my Saturday nights. I always try to do a monthly theme, so I pick 2, maybe or 3, depending on the month, of the same kind. Maybe it's a star, maybe it's a concept, but this is George Hamilton June. Well, we did Love at First Bite. Not really a lot there, but there are some things in there, a few racial stereotypical things that go on. It was 79, but in 2 weeks I'm doing Zorro the Gay Blade, which is non-PC all over the place. But that in that time, nobody cared about offending anybody. It was funny, and you could offend anybody. I mean, no matter what color you were, no matter what body shape you were, no matter what your sexual orientation is, it could be made fun of, and nobody cared who. I mean, why bother? If you can't not offend everybody, might as well just offend everybody. If as long as in the name of comedy, because that's mostly what is funny, is the things that get some people a little squirmy. That's the whole thing. I mean, you take that out of comedy, and it's pretty dull stuff, and that's what's going on, is that they're stripping all the funny stuff out of films nowadays, and it just becomes very boring.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's a shame. And the other thing is that yeah.
I was reading Enigma Service's comment about Zorro the Gay Blade. The ships in the field, the little babas. I love that movie. I'm looking forward to it.
That I recall. So
you've never seen Zorro the Gay Blade?
Not that I remember. No,
dude, you're invited to join. You have an open invitation anytime you want to pop on in. I don't know what your schedule is, but just putting it out there.
I can come on and be like the Virgin in the
the Virgin sacrifice. I'm doing that. I'm doing that to you next. Was it next month? I think. Yeah, next month. I think the 18th. Is that Friday?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to take another aspect of your virginity away with Tucker and Dale.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Tucker and
when
Dale.
you
Yeah,
have
we gotta do that. Yeah,
yeah, you said you hadn't seen that. I'm
I haven't
like,
seen
well,
it. No.
let's take care of that one. See, and that's what I do with the Friday night ones. Just something pops up, something interesting happening. I keep that one. I keep open most of the time. Be just just in such a case, or just that little spark of inspiration hits to watch another certain film. Saturday, I've already got that planned out for the rest of the year.
I'll bet.
Yep, it is. I got a calendar and everything with all the movies, all nice little logos printed all over it.
Yeah, Bill and I have actually started doing that because we just had so many we've been talking about doing for so long that we just decided, we got to just like sit down and plan this out. Horizon is one we've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm kind of kicking myself for missing it today because it was just out of my hands.
You haven't seen that one either.
We're actually going to do Rust in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I downloaded that. I have not watched it.
Yeah, and
but, I've got it. Just
I want to see it because we've been talking about it for so long, and when the shooting happened on the set, I was very early in my kind of YouTube career, and I was still on Saturday Serial with Matt, and when that happened, and we reported on it at first, and then just decided to kind of drop it because we didn't want to speculate, because this was still very early on in the investigation. We don't know who did what at that point, but there was all of this rumor and innuendo, and we were thinking, what, someone died, and we don't want to sit here and speculate about it or like report rumors. Let's wait until we have some kind of idea about what happened, because I've been on movie sets. I know how it goes. Matt has worked on movie sets. He's done like special effects, where they've had to deal with like weapons and stuff like that, and their chain of custody and all of this, so we just looked at it from that standpoint of okay, you had a live fire weapon on set, clearly, so somebody screwed up.
Right.
It was just going to be a matter of who,
someone did. I mean, someone was found negligent. It wasn't Baldwin though, but it was, I guess the prop master, the guy,
the armorer was the armorer at the time, and whether or not Baldwin should have is up for debate. I still think on his own he should have checked to make sure. I think his problem was not being more paranoid about it than he was. I would be paranoid about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
I would be like checking the gun every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if you're involved, especially if you're involved in a scene and you're if you're shooting it, and 2, you're being shot at. Yeah, you want to like make double, triple, quadruple checking everything, and but sadly, things go wrong. And I mean, we learned that with Brandon Lee. and John Eric's Hexam. Fifth, I wonder how many people remember that reference. But you know, these, and even if it's not a bullet in it, those that is it's a lot of force in a very small little area. And if there's like I said, a wad of just the wadding of something can penetrate. And that's, I think that's how John Eric Hexam died. He was joking around,
and that's what, and that's what killed Brandon Lee, was the wadding. And so I just, and Mark Malnikoff brings it up. You got to assume that every gun is loaded, and you don't point a weapon at anything that you are not absolutely planning to destroy. I mean, look, Brandon Herrera, who's like a 4A guy, he's a great channel. And in every video that he does, he brings up those 4 basic rules at least once in all of his videos, So, but, when you're in a situation like that, honestly, there really is no excuse. I mean, they had people who were walking off of that set before the shooting happened, saying that set was unsafe. So,
well, if you have that, then that makes it trickle towards the top.
Yeah.
If you're the head producer guy, that's on
and
you.
that was Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
So, he shares blame in this, as far as I'm concerned. He does, she does. The first AD apparently was handling weapons at some point. And there seems to be some back and forth as to whether that was part of his job or not. But again, you'd have to talk to somebody like Script Doctor or somebody like that who's kind of up to date on those things as far as chain of custody is concerned. But yeah, we're going to sit down. We're going to watch it. I'm going to be very honest about what I think of the movie, because we'll probably review it afterward, I'm sure.
Well, are you usually dishonest about a movie?
So, yeah. Have I ever? Well, there was a time when I would have taken it. I would have taken it easy on certain films for certain reasons, but I don't do that anymore. I am, because I am so. I have so had it with so many people in Hollywood for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to kind of hold back anymore. And
it's honesty in the movie review thing. I mean, you don't want to sit there and like, well, I'm not going to say it because I'm sure some people do. Just just ramble and just tear something to absolute shreds. If I don't like a film, I usually just make a very short review. You know what your mom said. Can't say something good. Don't say anything at all. But that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, I can tell with you, with Jeremy Johns, with a few others. If it's like, the video's like about 3 minutes long or something, that's when I go, oh.
Yeah,
take long.
My reviews usually go 3 to 5, depending. Today's was a little longer because it was 2 movies.
Yeah.
But if you ever see like 1 minute 25 seconds, I don't have much to say about a movie.
Mountain Head.
Mountain Head. Yeah. I didn't even check the runtime on Mountain Head. Well, how long was
That
that?
was short.
Yeah,
That was a short one.
that was a short one. Fear Below was kind of short too, but
Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, Mountain Head. Yeah, oh God, that thing. I just was I was mad after I watched that one.
So what? So what? So what was your like main beef with it?
I
It was.
well, it was an obvious bashing of those with money,
Oh,
planning to take over the world, and just all the characters are so unlikable, and it 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 just irritated me just to watch these quote unquote super rich guys talking about taking over this country and I really want to join forces with his app, but he's holding us back, we should kill him. And it was this weird satirical thing. I mean, and the thing is, I could tell the acting was good,
Mhm.
but what was going on, I lost interest in it. It was kind of boring, really, because I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
They can't do satire.
It
They
just
don't know
wasn't.
how to do satire anymore. That's the thing.
I mean, I get what they were going for,
Mhm.
but I just felt it was too mean spirited amongst them, and then like it just ended strange. Spoilers here. They try to kill a guy, and then at the end, it's all, oh, we were just joking, and they weren't joking. And then he's like, yeah, I know you were joking. I'm still, there's no way you're going to get a hold of that deal though. And I'm like, what? I would have liked to, like some gunfire would have been, that would have perked it right up. Like he pulls a gun out and starts killing all the ones that tried to kill him. But yeah, it just was really, I don't know, I just found it ultimately boring. I think it's a biggest crime. It wasn't holding my interest. I was kind of, it's like, okay, get on with it.
I get it because there are so many movies these days where it's like they either just take too much time to get started, or the characters are unlikable, or there's some weird out of left field ending, or oh, look how we're oh so clever being ambiguous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's,
I'm
I
so
mean,
tired of that.
my big thing, I think if anybody really pays attention to a lot of my reviews, I'm a pacing guy.
Mhm.
I'm a pacing guy, and I'm a runtime guy. If I'll be the first to say I like the Mission Impossible movies,
Mhm.
but dude, this last one, it felt like Ben-Hur runtime. It was just too freaking long with these huge swath of like have you seen it?
No.
There's this whole scene where he's like going to that Soviet sub, and it just takes forever. And it's not the most. I mean, there's a few things with like the water's rushing in, and oh, is he going to get out? And I'm like, at this point, I really don't care anymore if he gets out or not. It's just taking too freaking long. But yeah, those were my two things, and bad CGI. That was my only complaint about really How to Train Your Dragon was some of the ending CGI was a bit, you know.
Yeah, the CGI is a bit.
It's when you have a full scene and and the entire background is CGI.
Yeah,
it just doesn't look right.
No.
And when they're on that island, it just didn't look right. You know, it's just now the town they were in, Little Burke, that was kind of a nice little place. And they had some beautiful sweeping vista shots of the island. But yeah, when they got to the nest, that's kind of well, it wasn't terrible. It just I was just like, yeah, couldn't quite nail it.
So yeah, folks, that video is out right now. So please, after the show, not right now, check out Al's video if you haven't yet, and even if you have, watch it again. And of course, check out his review for Mountain Head, and have a laugh there because it's just so short. And you're like, okay, it's short to the point.
At one point I just like, that's really all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I had nothing else,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But there's some good stuff out there. Things you find that like that Fear Below.
Mhm.
I thought it was this going to be a shark attack movie, and it's not. It's like a crime drama with a shark in it, which actually worked for me. Like I said, your mileage may vary, but I enjoyed it. That was a pleasant surprise because I was expecting one step above Ouija Shark, and I got a pretty decent film, and that helps too. If I like have low expectations and it just turns out to be even a halfway decent movie, that might earn it an extra star right there.
Indeed.
Actually, I got a movie to ask because I know you saw it. I was wondering what you thought about it because I haven't heard what you thought. Life of Chuck.
Oh, great movie.
Thank you. Oh, I
love Life of Chuck.
That was so
that got awesome. Me, man. There were a couple of times where I almost turned on to Waterworks. Seriously. There's one scene in particular. I'm not going to give it. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but I don't want to give it away because it is an emotional moment. There is a scene in the third act where I was like, Mike Flanagan, get out of my head. Who leaked that? Who told you that? I had that moment, and just this great cast that it had. People that I didn't know were going to be in the movie going in.
And I had no idea what the story was.
No, me either. No.
And that made it so much better. And the thing, and when it was like at the first act, you're like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good, riveting. Chitwell, I can never pronounce that guy's name. Chitwell Ejiofor and Karen Gillan were like just killing it, man. They were doing such a good job. And then what happened. And I'm like, okay. And then, the second act and the whole dance thing. And I'm like, this is wild. And then, of course, the third act where
it all comes together.
It all comes together and you figure it out. And it really just, you're just like, oh my God, I get it. That one scene with the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Explained it all perfectly. It's such a beautiful movie. Definitely. Yeah, that's one of my big recommends recently is Life of Chuck.
Mine for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm definitely going to be talking about it a few times before the end of the year. So I think it might make it might make a list or two.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. It'll. I mean, when I
Yeah.
do the biggies, when I do my biggies at the end of the year, it'll probably, it's definitely going to at least show up as a highlight of the year, and yeah, it might win a category or two. Right now I got the two. I know the two front runners for the best of the year.
Mhm.
I haven't quite chosen yet. I'm gonna noodle on that one, but I know one I rated it higher, but might I might give it to the underdog just on sheer. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. 'Cause, I mean, I know I definitely there were definitely a few diamonds in the rough this year. Life of
Mhm.
Chuck is definitely one of them. And you're right, because for that first 40 minutes, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
trippy.
yeah, because you are, the film opens this, and I'm not giving anything away here. This is the stuff you find out right away. This kind of cataclysmic event happens, and it just starts this domino effect. And the thing that starts to throw you is you're a good way into that movie and you realize, hey, wait a minute, we haven't seen Tom Hiddleston yet.
Yeah,
I
except
mean,
in
yeah, I mean, we see him
yeah,
on like the billboard. We see images of him, in that, thanks Chuck for 39 years thing keeps popping up, and everybody's like, who is this guy? you know,
mhm.
and with all of this stuff that's going on, you know, and they're trying to figure it out.
And
But
it's
the problem is, you don't really see him for
woefully
like,
ill
yeah.
marketed. I think no marketing really.
How do you market it though? Is
I
because it
know
is so it's science fiction, it's a drama. There's some really funny things in it.
yeah, it does have a great sense of humor.
It really does.
It really
You
does.
have the
The,
narration, which is just hilarious from Nick Offerman, which is
speaking of Parks and Rec and Ron
yeah,
Swanson,
yeah. And there's all these weird little asides, It's like, she believes him, It's like, well, that's what he thinks, and stuff like that. And you're like, you're questioning the narrator. It's like, whose side are you on?
yeah.
You know.
And then, like I said, the second act has this like 10-minute dance scene
Yeah.
with Tom Hiddleston and Annalise Basso, who
Yeah.
I've been a fan of. Just and you're like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
It's just an odd film, but it comes together so well, and then like that final scene, just
Yeah.
ah. And Mark, I would love to see Mark Hamill get a nomination.
I would too.
I hope they push for that.
And I know he's a controversial guy in our circles now, and
Yeah,
I understand
but he
that.
was good. I mean,
But
that was a.
I agree. Mhm.
I'm not one to, whatever I think of someone politically, personally, or whatever. If they do a good job, I'll say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker, but he's very liberal, very TDS. But I'm not going to take anything away from his talent in
No,
that
I
film.
mean, he's great here, and I'm like, I'm a give credit where credit is due guy. And even if
Right. Well, like last year, Wicked was out. There was a lot of talk about Cynthia Erivo and all her little hissy fits and stuff like that. But I watched the film. I can't take it away from her. She knocked it out of the park. So, say what you will.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? If the person won't necessarily like me, that's fine. But if they do something, this is what we're talking about, folks. When we say to these people, it's about the performance or it's about making a good movie. And if that person goes out and does a good performance in a good movie, we got to give credit where the credit is due. So that's what I do, and that's what I will continue to do. And I don't necessarily, like I said, Bill and I are going to watch Rust, and I'm going to give it its fair due. And if it's not a good film, then oh well. And if it turns out to be good, I'll say so. And if Alec Baldwin's good in the movie, I'll say so. And I don't have to like the guy. And he probably wouldn't like me, but I will give credit where credit is due. And that's just
how could anybody not like you?
I don't know. I always seem to find people who don't a lot of the time, but that's neither here nor there. There are good movies out there, folks. Life of Chuck is certainly one. I'm going to be doing a whole show on the best of 2025 next week, for Unscripted. And that conversation, may go to this show next week with my guests next week. But yeah, I mean, there are good movies out there. You got to go out there and you got to find them. Sometimes they're a little hard to find. And it's kind of you like I said, this movie that you saw with the sharks. That's not necessarily a movie everybody's familiar with, but you got to go out and kind of look for it and find it. It's out there.
Yeah, I like a shark. I like a shark movie. Yeah, I like an animal attack film. Get alligator film or something like that. And I saw this one. It had a big shark eating a scuba helmet. And I was like, ooh, gotta watch this. But it was something entirely different, and actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Right. There was a movie a year or two ago called New Life that I really enjoyed. And I don't remember, somebody had brought it up to me and somebody had reviewed it. And I wish I could remember who.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. And I don't remember if you had reviewed it first or somebody had reviewed it first, and I got curious and I went and I watched the movie and I said, this is actually really good. And I kind of maybe overhyped it a little bit, but it's like, hey, it's original. It's not a sequel. It's not a franchise. It's not a remake. It's not a reboot. It's original. Is very small. It's a very subtle film. It's very quiet, until the fit hits the shan. But it's like, this is actually really good. And this is what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
But I don't remember if you saw it because I suggested it, or you were the one who suggested it.
Right.
To me.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know
somewhere along the way, one of us
chicken or egg
saw it before the other day.
Kind of thing.
But yeah, and I sat down. And I said, "This movie's actually really good." And they keep it and they keep it short because it's like, I think it's like 80 minutes. It's not that long, But so yeah, good movies are out there. You just got to go and find them. And every once in a while, you got to take a chance on something.
Right, and that's what a lot of people do. I mean, I know some of my friends who are not even worried or are bothered to go see Superman. They don't. They have no interest. You know, they don't like James Gunn, or they don't like the outfit or whatever. It's like, well, you know what? You'll never know unless you actually watch it.
The chat is jumping. I do not want to ignore anybody. Says Enigma talking about his Echo Valley review. If you haven't seen it, don't watch the review yet. Then wait and watch it first. Okay, so he might have some spoilers in there. Okay. About Parks and Rec, he says, don't start judging it until season 3.
Yeah. You got to get past the first 2 seasons. Now, okay. I because I enjoy the characters, I don't. On second viewing, I actually like the first 2 seasons a lot better. But once Rob Lowe and Adam Scott show up, that's when that was the magic pieces that needed to be there.
And Quapla to our resident Klingon, Mark Malnikoff. Thank you for joining us. Man from Nowhere is an awesome one. Loved the Korean version. Yeah, and that's another movie where the fight scenes are pretty realistically done. Like the moves are legit and all. So, yeah. So, which even more sad is the fact that the popular people get the rights to direct a film or produce it, and it becomes a horrible representation of beloved books or stories. And another thing that I find to be concerning is they seem to be casting people off of how many people are following them on Instagram or something. You know, it's like that's not how you cast a movie. You cast the best actor for the part, not who's most popular on whichever app, you know.
Oh, and sorry.
No, go ahead.
About New Life. I found my review. I gave it 3 stars. You said you and I think you suggested to me because you're like, I think I dug it more than you did, but I'm glad you got to see it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, that seemed to be the consensus of we liked it more than Deleted did.
Yeah,
I mean, I liked it as much as he did, and I'm like,
3 stars is a solid review in my book.
It is,
yeah. You know, I mean, I remember when I reviewed Dune 1 and I gave it 3.5 stars. I got vilified by one guy. I was like, dude, 3.5 is a good rating out of 5. Yeah. And you know the way I think anyway.
Yeah.
Number 2, of course, Screw the Pooch, but that's because I know the book.
We did a whole show about that with Sin and Paulie Latino Slant. So check that video out, by the way, folks, because it's on my it's on I think my playlist for it was last year, right? Dune 2? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So it's on my
last year or late last. It might have been like late last year, late the year before.
Either way, you look through my movie review playlist. It's on there from on my channel. You can check that out. And with Paulie's permission, I put a video that he had done that he actually clipped from that show. It's also on the playlist as well, so check that out. You two will give it your best shot at Rust. Yes, Tim, we will give it our best shot. Yeah. That's Tim, folks. All right.
God.
This is
Tim definitely has a way with the English language sometimes.
Yeah. You have not seen Tucker and Dale? Well, no, I know Tucker and Dale is just one of those movies I never got around to.
Mhm.
I do want to see it. I think I'll probably like it, but we'll find out. We'll
I
find out
I think
next month.
I
We're gonna
I think you
do
I
it.
think you
Guys.
will. That was a we did I did a rewatch on it 5 years ago with
Hmm.
Troy. We did
Ah,
a matinee or one. It was a Saturday early matinee, like about 11 or 12 noon or something. And we just sat and watched that. I haven't done a matinee in a while. They're kind of fun.
choices. I see what you did there. Yes, he did. Mark Malikoff says I've been watching the remake of the 1979 to 80s Australian drama series Prisoner Cell Block H called Wentworth. Yeah, that's been on a while. 2014 to 2021. The way they brought the characters and writing forward, this is good. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've seen clips. Okay. I know Bill deleted this, hurting my with the heart. Yeah.
Well, I'm good. Like I said, I'm taking care of it. Gonna make sure we pop that cinematic cherry.
for every movie that I've seen, there's 100 that I've missed, and you'll be surprised which ones.
Oh yeah, I still get people look at me when I say I haven't seen Sound of Music.
Yeah. Troy says this is about Rust. Troy says the armor was effed up by the stupid COVID protocols. Yeah, that didn't help matters either. Mark Mankoff said, yeah, we talked about this. The 4 basic rules of firearms. One is assume every gun is loaded. True. All right. Let's see. Tim says, yep, I've never held a firearm, and even I know the basic safety rules. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Guns are tools, need to be handled with respect, strict sense of responsibility. There's no excuse for what happened there. No. As a projectile launcher person myself, I promise he was very self-assured. He was too smart to check. Best thing to ever do is stay humble, having those items in your hand. Yeah.
Projectile launcher. I like that.
Yeah. Have zero faith that Baldwin is even capable of humility, even in the smallest amount. Yeah, he does come off that way. Comes off very smug. Greed's number 1 rule: always check what's inside. Always, it's muscle memory. Even when giving the item to someone, you double check, never assume. Like Mountain says, that's how I approach here every single time. My instructors are retired state police and military, as were mine, and will promptly re-educate on the spot. Yes, I made a mistake once, and I never forgot that lesson. Yeah, when you are on a range and you have an instructor who is police or military or former, yeah, they know their stuff, and if you
and they know how to get a point across.
Yeah, they know how to get a point across. So I know how that is. Yeah, I actually fired a Thompson submachine gun on a closed range one time.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think I hit the target because it was just like, is it, and I was just all over the place and shaking because I was also a little smaller weight wise than I am now too.
Yeah,
but
I've done precious.
It wasn't the weapon for me.
Yeah, I've done precious little in by way of guns. Although there was one day when some of my friends and I were at a friend's land, and we had a big block of bulletproof glass, and and that was the target of the day for them. But I got to shoot a few of the old revolvers that were uh, 18, not they were, well, they were reproductions and all, but they fired. But some of the old timey guns were a lot of fun to fire.
Tim says, unless you loaded it yourself, always check to see if it's loaded. Yes, big rule. Always assume it's loaded, and then always check. This is first move of grabbing mine at home. My finger hits the mag release, and I looked in. You pulled the slide. Of course, this was a revolver. Open the chamber and look at the fakes or live ammo to be sure. Alrighty, I think that was. I think we're caught up there. Clear that. Okay. So yeah, that's. It's going to be an interesting watch, and I don't know what the reaction is going to be from anybody who watches it with us. It's going to be an interesting show. It's going to be in 2 weeks. So check that out. And of course, next week is going to be Cowboys and Aliens of Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford. So check that out.
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah. It's been a while since I have too, so. Mark Malikoff says, delete since those same instructors who coach after my cervical spine fusion and help me regain my balance and function with a series of drills. Great respect for them. Yeah.
A fellow spinal patient.
Yeah. And speaking as someone who's had spinal issues, is not fun, folks.
No, it is not.
No. And because what was happening with me was my lower back was starting to go numb.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to go and have myself checked out. And what the doctor told me was that there are 3 main stages, and one, it can be handled with therapy. The second one is surgery, and the third one is, well, you're pretty much screwed. And I said, well, where am I? What level am I on? He said 1.5. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start the therapy right away. And yeah, ever since then, I mean, I'll have my aches and pains, here and there. But I'm not having the numbness anymore. I'm not walking around like RoboCop like I was, So yeah, whenever, if and I cannot reiterate this enough, folks, if you have a medical issue, don't let it fester. Don't waste time. Go see a doctor,
Yeah, it took forever to figure out what was wrong with me because of other things, but yeah, mine was a 14-hour surgery.
Yeah. So luckily I didn't have to go through that. Yeah. But,
mm-hmm.
Because it hasn't exactly been a great year for me either. health wise, I had that polyp taken off of my colon. I may still have one on my gallbladder. I don't know yet. My knee's doing a thing now that I don't like, but you get to a certain age and you don't bounce back from injury as fast. And you got to watch out, and there are warning signs, and you got to watch your weight, and and exercise more and all this, and just be aware. Watch what you eat, and because if there's something wrong, your body will let you know. Because it'd be like, hey, bonehead, you got a problem down here, So yeah, and hello to Daniel's Hot Topics. Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you had a great Father's Day yesterday. Yeah, I was working yesterday.
The funny thing, yesterday still feels like Sunday because
yeah, it does.
Mark
I got you there, Bill. Yeah, you talking about the life of Chuck when I made the comment about my father. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, I got it. Let's see. Yeah, mine was a defect in my neck. I have a titanium cage and screws where one level is replaced. Surgeon said you can't afford to F with this or you'll be paralyzed when in a knife. Yeah, like they said to me, hey, you're 1.5 on that scale, so it's like,
yeah,
it was basically, I had no choice. It was therapy or just totally wreck myself. So
yeah, I've got 12 screws in my neck right now, and all with like all the bars and everything connecting it. And when I woke up, I asked the doctor. It's like I told the doctors I expected to have like one of those cages, like that little the halos around my neck. And he's like, "Don't worry, I've got enough metal in your neck. Your head's not going anywhere." Yeah, it can be a scary thing, and sometimes things start to. Mine felt like I just had numbness in two of my fingers, and it literally grew from that. And next thing I knew, I was 4 to 6 months away from dying because it would shut down everything. Didn't know that until after the surgery.
Huh. They left that part out, huh?
Well, no, once he got in there and saw how bad it was, he talked to my mother, God rest her soul, at the time that I had 4 to 6 months, or it would have shut everything down, my heart, lungs. I was having bony growths in my neck. And it was creating a terrible stenosis situation, worst he had ever seen in my neck. So they had to basically just blew apart my entire cervical area and put it back together again.
And I think my x-rays look like a map of LA, and then somebody will just go and one up me. So I just realized I got lucky, and it was I got lucky in that I actually found a doctor who was able to quickly diagnose what the problem was, and pretty much had a plan of action right away, and just been sticking to it ever since. I go in for therapy tomorrow, actually, so it works out. right after work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I look back on it, I mean, ultimately, no matter if, even despite the fact that, I'm in a wheelchair now and stuff like that, I still have enough uh, basic stuff that I can get along on my own for the most part. I need help with a few things here and there, but um, because after my neck, I had the same thing in the thoracic. I had to have another surgery, which I was away from home for a year for that one. But yeah, that one put me down for good. I kept coming back, then I kept getting knocked down. I got up again. Then sometimes you can't get back up again.
all right. So how long do I have you for?
I'm still here. I mean, I'm
Okay.
awake still. I mean,
All righty. So
you got any more questions? I mean, ask me what you can ask me whatever you want. Or
um, all right. Well, do you have anything? Well, I mean, I know you mentioned that you have your Saturday night shows pretty much planned through the end of the year. Are there any
Mhm.
that you would like to like talk about right now, or do you want to keep those
Oh, no,
kind of hush for right?
I've mentioned them before. I don't mind letting people know. Well, I mentioned, of course, this month on 28th we got Zoe the Gay Blade.
Mhm.
And then for July, it's kind of a sci-fi theme going on. Got The Last Starfighter and
Ah,
Friday the Navigator.
right.
Um, that's the 12th and the 26th, respectively. Also in July, of course, I'll be taking your Tucker and Dale V card. You might want to put that. Um, uh, July 4th. I'm not sure if this one's going to be streamed or not, though. Me and the Birdman soundtrack for Birdman are going to be watching Jaws 2. I'm not sure if it's going to be a stream thing. I'll kind of wait and see because I'm waiting to hear from him about the timing. It's going to be an early one though. It would be a matinee-ish kind of thing.
Mm.
But August, I'm doing a couple of Jane Austen movies. Doing Emma, Pride and Prejudice,
Mhm.
and also August 1st, which is a Friday. Going to be getting together with Boomer, watching the next two episodes of Robin of Sherwood. Then, of course, we enter the spooky season a little bit. And 2 weeks after we watch Pride and Prejudice, we're going to be watching Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies on September 6th. And kind of doing a film that meant a lot to me during the bad times when I was having my troubles and before I knew what was going on. The Phantom of the Opera, the musical with Gerard Butler, which I always kind of like. Going to be doing that one on the 20th. And doing Stephen the King in October, doing Carrie and Silver Bullet. Uh, then November, I'm doing a sequel month. Going to do Lethal Weapon 2 and Die Hard 2. And
Oh,
December doing Trading Places, and then the last one of the year, well, at least the last one, the last Saturday that I've got planned, the Muppet Christmas Carol. I think would be a fun one to do. But
oh,
those are the ones. Those are the ones I've got scheduled right now. Could they change? Maybe. I don't see
sure.
any reason why they would right now, unless the odd chance here and there something might come up. But the Friday ones are always, like I said, always kind of open, except for, like I said, I got Jaws this Friday.
Mhm.
Um, 20 the 20th the 50th anniversary on June 20th, to the day when Jaws first came out and changed cinematic history forever.
Mhm.
Um,
And
so you're
and
going to
who
be
else is going to be joining us for that? Because
not sure
that's
yet. I
kind of
got a
a
few.
list that seems to be getting a little
Get a little,
lengthy.
yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
Not
I've
that
got
I
an open
mind. The
invitation.
more the
I got an
merrier.
open invitation. Yeah, it's a special occasion. Plus, it's your birthday
It actually is.
this
Yeah.
coming Friday.
It's just
Uh,
coincidentally that it fell on
which
that
I
day.
thought get a few extra people kind of wish a happy birthday would be kind of nice. But Troy and Netter said they might stop by, and I'm trying to get soundtracks with Birdman may be popping in, depending on how his schedule's going.
Mhm.
I haven't asked him, but if Outlaw Bill wants to pop in, if he's here, is he here? If
I
he
think
is here and
he's
listening,
still here. Yeah.
if he would like to join in the conversation, that'd be fun too. Just just it's one of those times where we just get together and watch. To me, one of my top, I'll say 10, top 10 films of all time. Definitely would be one of my, as I like to put it, one of my island movies that I would have to have. It would be in my top 5 if trilogies were considered one. It would definitely be in my top 5.
I know there was someone, I'm not going to say who, in the Geeky Geezers chat earlier, who said that Jaws was underrated, and I went, "You're out to the band."
They said it was underrated.
It's overrated.
Over.
Yeah.
Well,
He's not a fan. Come on.
Everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
They're wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different opinion. I mean, it's not for every. I mean, just like any movie, it's not for everybody. Every movie is going to have someone that thinks it's the greatest movie of all time, or could give a rat's patootie about it. It was a big part of my childhood. I remember being terrified by that freaking head popping out of the hole in the boat. That to me was the most traumatic part of the film. But it just, I kept going back for more. And of course, we got Jaws 2, 3, and 4. I didn't watch Jaws 4 until like a couple years ago when I watched it with Birdman. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be. I was always very hesitant about it.
And Bill says he can't drop in.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right.
I'll send you a link on Friday. It'll be 7:00. Early start time because it's a little over 2 hours, and like I said, I always like giving that buffer to the last call. And considering, Troy said he may join us. I'm not sure for how long or for the whole thing or not, but
we'll see.
I think that might be at capacity that now as far as handling that many people.
Well, they'll be fine. We'll get through it. Mark Malikoff says that was the scariest thing I've been through. My nurse was a Trek fan in Newfoundland Cons. Right on. When I awoke, cool. I said, I am Eratus of hemorrhoids are futile. Your asses will be laminated. Yeah. It's the
funny story. I don't know. I think I've told you maybe. When I first woke up after the first surgery, the neck surgery, and I had a tube. I had the whole intubated tube thing because I'd been on my back, on my stomach for a while, and they had to keep it in there. They finally took that thing out. I asked the nurse, "Is today Thursday?" Because I had my surgery on a Wednesday, and she said this, "No, dear, it's Friday." And literally, immediately in my head, I thought, "Oh, Galactica's on tonight." And it was when they were on New Caprica. I don't know how many Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, was on, but it's when it was on, they were on New Capricorn. But that literally was the first thing I thought about when I found out it was Friday. I was like, oh, Galactica's on today. I just prayed that they had sci-fi. Thankfully, they did. So I got to watch. I got to watch Galactica in my recovery room, and all was good with the world because I was able to close my hand, which I couldn't do before. And I got to tell that story to all the Galactica people I had a chance to talk to for any length of time. I told them that story, and they thought it was kind of cool.
So who all have you met from Galactica?
I met. I'll have to use character names for some of them. Chief Tyrrell.
Mm-hmm.
I met Caprica 6 with Trisha Helfer.
Nice.
I met Baltar.
Mm-hmm.
Who was a real nice guy. Who else have I met? I met Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it.
Ah.
At least those are the ones that are popping in my head.
Pretty cool, though.
I did say Chief, right? Chief Tyrrell.
Yeah. You did.
Yeah, he's the one the first one I met who I got to tell the story to. Oh, I did. Richard Hatch, because he was in the original one, but you know, he was in that one too. Got to meet him. Sadly, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I miss, that's the one thing I do. I do miss going to conventions. They were a ton of fun. You get to have that little bit of time with a star, and yeah, it's just great times, And they have one in a few weeks. To the one I used to go to, they got Dina Meyer. Oh. From Starship Troopers, going to have her. And they got Adrian Palicki from Orville, and it just would be nice to go to that one. They got a lot of great stars.
Yeah, I'm going to try and hit a con this year if I can. I've only been to one ever, and that was like pre-COVID. So
yeah, Mark said, Richard Hatch is Gerald Karn from Fame Come Axanar.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. I like Axanar. Axanar is really cool. I like what they were doing there. Because a lot of when the cons I would go to here, it was the DC Baltimore area. They is where the guys from Starship Farragut were from, and so I really got to know them and meet them, and I still like participate in their Indiegogo or whatever that their little fundraising things for. They're doing the movie era now for them because they're a lot older now. But yeah, there were some really good folks. So if you're a Star Trek fan, you like fan films, I've never seen Starship Farragut, give them a watch. They do some good stuff.
Nice. Going back to our various little medical maladies, when I went into the colonoscopy. This was back in February. It was my first one, which was my mistake because I should have started doing that a lot earlier. And I went in, it was my first one, and get there, everything's I'm there on time. They reel me in. They got the thing on backwards, the booty on the shoes. I'm laying there, and I'm on my side. And I'm talking to the nurse, and she's like, and she's tapping me on the forehead. right? And just in the middle of the conversation, starts tapping me on the forehead. And then that's when I realized that she's doing the countdown for the anesthesia. And she gets to 5. And I'm like, I feel like there's something cold on my arm. And it felt like somebody poured melted ice cream on my arm. And I'm like, who's got ice? And then I woke up in recovery. That quick, felt like. You know, I didn't even know I was out until it was over. You know, and then they woke me up. It's like,
I remember I was having a medical a medicine imbalance, let's say. Something my body chemistry got off, and I was sleeping like 23 and a half hours a day. Not drinking, not eating. They were very nervous. My kidneys started to do some wacky stuff. But I started having these weird hallucinations and dreams and stuff. Like a nurse standing over me looking at me, who I'd never seen before. And I had this one vision that I woke up in a movie theater with my back laying on the seat and my feet hanging over the back of the chair, and they're saying, "Sir, you have to leave. You know, you didn't pay for a ticket to get in." And I'm like, I can't walk. I don't know what's going on, and it seems so real. I'm picturing it now as real as anything. And for some reason, the movie was the movie version of Family Matters with Urkel. So I knew I was out of it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was having all kinds of weird visions and stuff. But they took me back to the hospital, got me straight. It brought me back, and I was able to stay awake for the most part. You know.
I go, it's like I don't need to go like into the hospital to have weird dreams. I go, folks, I have that already.
Oh, I do too. I have I swear this happens 4 or 5 times a week. I'll wake up and I'm thinking there's like a spider on my ceiling. It's my sprinkler. I have a sprinkler in here. But I swear every time it's like right there, and I was like, what's on the ceiling? It's coming after me. Oh my God, it moved. You know, all the time. And I know it's and I kind of have to like go, oh yeah, that's right.
Now, I get a lot of
Dale's asking, was the nurse hot?
Was the nurse hot?
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I was pretty woozy. But yeah, that second operation I had, man, there were all kinds of things going on. I had more swelling on my back, so it took forever for feeling to come back. Like I'm talking like months before I got any kind of regained anything, any kind of feeling. Couldn't sit up straight, or I couldn't breathe because my diaphragm was compromised a bit. Like I said, then I had the medical thing. I got a bacterial infection. I had to have a PICC line. It just took forever to get. Yeah, it took forever to get to the point where I could just concentrate on recovery and rehab. I just kept having setbacks, and it just was annoying and very disheartening.
I know with me, the one that I have a lot is not being able to is not being able to move. Like,
Mhm.
I'm trying to get away from something or someone. And it either all the strength just goes right out of me.
I
And I feel constricted. That happens to me a lot.
I was
Um,
once sitting in. I was once a long time before my back issues. I was sleeping. I was in my recliner, and I was watching something, which I'll get to in a moment. But I'd fallen asleep, and I was coming out of sleep. And you know how sometimes you're getting awake, but you can't move.
mhm.
And I was lucid enough to realize that on the television was a show about alien abduction, and they were talking about paralyzing people as they were coming in to take them and experiment on them. And for like a whole thing, I'm like, move, move, move. I was like starting to freak out a little bit. It just was like too well timed for my taste. But I can laugh about it now because I wasn't kidnapped that day anyway. Outlaw Bill's talking about when they were swimming, watching Jaws in a pond. I've always wanted to do that. I think that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I'm looking this up right now. All right. Just to go back a minute to Bill in the chat says, picture watching Jaws in the Ohio Fish Rescue's pool pond. Filled with large arapaima, large pikefish, and large red-tailed catfish. And he's dropped the link for a channel from the Ohio Fish Rescue. Let me check this out here real quick.
Man, suddenly I want some fried catfish.
And maybe we can share this out real quick. This is the channel that Bill's referencing here. The Ohio Fish Rescue. It looks interesting. Stop by the link. Stop by the channel. And why not? Give them a sub. Looks
Animal rescue people are always
there's some interesting stuff here.
good people. Good people.
Yeah. So yeah, all right. Check that video out. That channel, and give them a sub.
Or
Just see what I'm talking about. Large fish in a swimming pool pond watching Jaws. Yeah. Danny asking, what time is it over where you guys are? 1:46 here on Monday. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 30th anniversary of Batman Forever too. Yeah, I'm East Coast as well. So.
East Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Maryland here, if anybody's curious. Yes.
Yeah.
The great state of Maryland, which
And,
sadly has gone backwards into the Stone Age again with the politics.
and South Carolina for me, and that's usually a bit of a crapshoot politically too. So I'm not gonna judge. It's probably better in Maryland. All right.
Well, yeah, just do your voting duty and
yeah.
Hope just
hope for the best.
Live your life and do the best you can. Things are always changing.
Indeed. All righty. Well, I think this is as good a place as any to start wrapping things up.
Awesome.
Go ahead and remind the folks of what you have coming up.
Oh, what do I have coming up? Oh yeah, of course. Join me and Deleted Scenes and some special guests on Friday, 7 p.m. for a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws, one of my favorite films, and also celebrating the. You don't mind your age being put out there, right?
No, I'm good. Yeah, go ahead.
The 52nd anniversary of the birth of Deleted Scenes. So everything being celebrated on Friday should be a lot of fun. Going to be joining Netter on Saturday. We're going to be watching The Freshman with Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando, which was I remember watching that in the movie theater. That's a pretty good film. And of course, just keep a lookout for my reviews and any rewatches that may pop up. I gave you what was coming the rest of the year, but the Friday ones are always a mystery until I actually think about it. Except finally see it. Tucker and Dale for on the 18th of August. It's going to be a lot of fun. Or July, sorry. Man, I don't know what month that is anymore. Keep thinking it's July for some reason.
It's the month of September.
Yeah.
Santa Claus versus the Martians reference. Okay.
I know. I was like, no, I was. I know what you're talking about, man. I remember that. I always like that. Hey,
right.
a rainbow Santa Claus. I rewatched that a few years back.
Yeah, I like the Mystery Science Theater version. Oh, Mr. Claus, you have a nasty habit of surviving. Santa's gonna cut you, man. Santa's a blade man, man. So crazy. This is I mean, it's a goofy movie to watch on its own, but when you do the Mystery Science Theater version,
yeah, it just adds a whole other level to
they
it.
just make him sound like he's like this psychopath. Oh man, it's funny stuff. And the part that I can't get my head around is Pia Zadora is the little girl. The little Martian girl.
Man, she definitely had her little 15-minute of fame.
Yes, she did.
For a couple of reasons.
Yeah. Yes, Master. Yes, Master.
Be like the movie. Yeah, like the movie last night. That's a little more Dwight Fry with the clenching your teeth. So I was thinking about that day. I was updating my iconic Universal Monster page, and I decided to do Saturday, just Redfield, just because. A little Dwight Fry day.
Good. All right, let's see. That gets things on over to me. So if all goes as planned, tomorrow night, I am going to be joining the other members over on Troy's channel for Last Call Members Night at the Movies. And the movie is going to be Escape from L.A. Kurt Russell. And, of course, Bruce Campbell as the Surgeon General of L.A., which is... You got to see it to believe it, folks.
I saw it in the theater first weekend.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it. We'll do a little surfing.
And of course, Tuesday, Troy Nutter and Boomer will be joining me for this week's episode of Live from Sparkwood in 21, where we are going to be rewatching Mulholland Drive. And then the week after that, we're going to do a deep dive into it and try and figure out just exactly what the heck is going on in that movie, because we definitely have our theories. And
is that Naomi Watts?
It is.
Awesome.
Very much so. And gets me on over to Thursday for Action Theater, back at its original day and time, Thursdays at 4:30. Bond month continues with Pierce Brosnan's first movie as Bond, GoldenEye. Then
Tina Turner theme song, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. And that gets on over to later that night for coming attractions. Get to find out what's going on my channel for the next week, which is going to be a pretty busy one, because not only do I have my Films with Friends appearance, I am planning a birthday show. Will likely be on Saturday. Also, later that night, I'm going to try and make after hours karaoke. Should Bill be continuing with that this week? I usually join in during the second half of that show. And of course, brings me on over to Sunday for Western Cinema Presents at 4 p.m. Cowboys and Aliens. 8 p.m. Unscripted episode. I think it's either 112, which is going to be my best of 2025 so far. And later on that night, reserved seats will return. Sin's Corner and Corey from Wilkie's Movies and Music will be among my guests for that show. So that's what I have coming up. And of course, I have reviews coming up for Predator Killer of Killers, also Ballerina. I might do a short one for The Damned, and I'm going to try and get maybe one other movie in here in the next couple of days, and I'll review that as well. So stay tuned for dates and times on that. All right. Now, so any final words before we shut it down for tonight?
I just want to thank you for having me on. Had a lot of fun. I am surprised I'm still awake and fairly lucid. not exactly my prime thinking hours here, but
football practice. Okay.
Just a lot of fun. Just thank everybody who joined in and gave some comments out there and just listen to us ramble on. Like I said, just check out my channel. It's a humble little thing. It's more of a hobby to me than than anything, but I enjoy doing it. I'm proud of what I do. So drop on by and just give me a subscribe. I'd appreciate it.
Daniel's Hot Topic says, could you save the best for last? The last Bond film that should be reviewed is Diamonds Are Forever. I'm trying to remember if we've done that already. You have to ask Bill, because he's the one who's picking the because of course, obviously, for those of you who have been watching our Bond episodes, we have not been doing them in order. And Bill has a specific reason why we're watching them in the order that we're watching them. So you kind of have to take that up with him. But our plan is to eventually get to all of them. I don't know if he means the later Craig films or not, but and I'm probably going to have to talk him into Quantum of Solace. But other than that, yeah. If we haven't done it already, Daniel, I'm sure we'll get to it at some point eventually. All right. So I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. I do want to thank everybody that has been watching us on X. And, of course, watching the simulcast over on Big Al's channel. Please give him a thumbs up as well. And if you are new to his channel, please subscribe. I do want to thank everybody who is here in the live chat with us. Troy and Netter, Curtis, Bill, Daniel, Tim, Mark Mounikoff. Let's see. I think, yes, Connie was with us. Enigma Severus. Scrolling up. I don't want to miss anybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Those are the main ones that I see. All right. Thank you all once again for joining us. As I always say at the end of every show, from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.